Hello everybody, it's the pollinator. Um, I thought I'd make a video that's a change of pace. You know, if you've been following me on YouTube, you will, at least I've noticed it, you will notice that I started out very, what's the word for it, mild in the earlier parts of my transition, and as time has gone on, I've gotten more and more fired up about the things that are going on in the United States. Um, and so you got to see the fireball in me. Uh, one of my subscribers described me as being a cannon, which one of the sides of me. One of the many sides of me. One of the parts you don't see is absolutely how outrageous I am, and fun, and when I go out in public, I'm like a magnet. I mean, I can't go anywhere in the metro without attracting people to me to talk to me. I just have one of those kind of personalities where I just draw people. But the title of this video is Women Supporters of Trans Men and BLM, which stands for Trans Male Black Lives Matter. That's not the name of that group. The name of the group on Facebook is different than those initials, but I am turning that group into an organization, which will be just, Facebook will be the front end of that organization, but in the back end, it's going to be turned into a nonprofit, and I'll talk about that and how this all came about. Sometime, I think April or May of last year, of 2016, I was sitting in a group on Facebook when this lady came up with the idea of starting a group for the women admirers of trans men, that would focus on their transition as a result of trans men in their lives. And I instantly got excited, and I responded to her that I think it was a great idea and that she should start that group, and I'll jump in it immediately. So that group got started, and I sat there for about a week, and nothing was going on. People were being added, and nothing was being generated in the group. So I reached out to the admin of the group, her and another lady, but I just reached out to one. And I told her, it looks like you need something here that, you don't have a description of the group, you don't have a logo for the group, you don't have anything for it. So I volunteered to be an admin, and she said, "Yeah, come on in as an admin." And so I did that, and I created the description. I created the rules of the group. I created a lot of things around that group and tried to engage those other admins to be a part of what I was doing. I mean, I wanted to run things by them as I was doing them, and they were despondent. They had things going on in their lives, and they didn't care what I did as long as somebody did something, right? So I went ahead and did my thing, created the rules, They didn't object, so I began to implement those rules in that group because there was so much drama. All of a sudden, people did start talking, and there was so much drama going on, and you know, people using that group as a dating group, and a lot of the women were getting upset, and the men were getting upset. So I instilled order in that group, which the men, the trans men in the group didn't like. So more drama broke out, and I can't remember exactly what happened. All I know is that I said something to somebody, and then those two admins who never did anything. One of them was in a very, very abusive relationship with someone, and the other one just liked to turn on the video and flip her hair for 45 minutes. I mean, these ladies were not doing anything. So they confronted me with this post, and I said, okay, and I said, wait a minute. We're admins here. We run the group. Why are you confronting me with this? And I'm not going to defend myself. And I said, you know, I've been sitting in here for a month or two, and you two haven't done a doggone thing to run this group and maintain any kind of order or anything else like that. I said, you know, I've been doing everything, and this is the appreciation I get. You guys don't have my back. So they must have been talking between each other, because both of them blocked me from talking to them at the same time. I said, okay, all right, I see how this is going to go. And they were in their early 20s. Bunch of petty games, a bunch of shit that was going on in there. Too much drama for me. So I just said, see you, bye. And I left that group. But I quickly realized maybe a week later that this was something that women needed. And they needed a strong man to run the group, because those ladies weren't running anything. It was like they, you know, one of them was afraid of confrontation, and the other one was just interested in, like I said, flipping her hair for 45 minutes on video on her timeline. So I created Women Supporters of Trans Men in June of 2016. And I ran that group, I wouldn't say with an iron fist. Well, maybe I will say I did rule it with an iron fist, because things would happen so fast that if somebody wasn't on top of it, it will quickly get out of control, like it does in other groups that I've seen on Facebook. And I was determined that the women in that group had the floor. I got the men to take a back seat and observe what their women went through. And it didn't matter whether it was your friend, your girlfriend, your fiance, your wife, your mother. It didn't matter what kind of woman or female was in that group, from transgender to cisgender. It didn't matter. But the uniqueness of that group is that it was about the women's transition. Because a lot of times the men's transition overshadows everything about their relationship. Because there's lots and lots and lots of support for female to males, and MTFs too. There's a lot of support around social media for them, but there's no support or education or places that the cisgender or transgender women could go to. So in essence, it was like a local group, but it wasn't local. It was worldwide. And the women were able to talk and ask questions and bring up concerns they had about what they went through as a result of the emotional roller coaster ride that their trans men were going through, and this dysphoria and this and that, and they wanted to know, they were eager to learn and satisfy their man. Here's the thing though, I said, okay, you want to satisfy your man, but I want your men to put you on a pedestal. This is your time to shine. This is your time for the focus to be off of his transition onto yours, onto what you go through, onto what you feel, onto what you don't understand, onto, just shift that whole dynamic, if you will, from the men to the women. And, I didn't force anybody to do anything. But if a guy jumped up when a woman was trying to understand what was going on in her relationship, or understand what was going on with regards to female to male, because a lot of them came in before their men started T, and a lot of them came in while their men were on T, and some of them entered into relationships with trans men long after they'd started T. So there was, a lot of different dynamics going on in that group, including trans men new on testosterone, or maybe even not new on testosterone, who thought that they could come after me. It was almost like I had over 200 people in there that at any point in time could have a bad day and decide they were going to challenge me. And whenever that happened, especially if they start cussing me out, it was like, oh no, you're not gonna. I created this group, and either you abide by the rules of the group and keep the drama out of the group, or you can leave. And that's the standard I maintained in that group. And yeah, a whole bunch of them thought I was kidding, or that I didn't have a lot of integrity in that group, or that I wouldn't do what I said I was going to do, and then I'd do it. And then, I'd kick them out. Basically, they start cussing at me. I'd kick them out because I don't have to put up with abuse from, hot-headed, testosterone-filled men who were on this emotional roller coaster ride and did not know how to deal with their emotions on testosterone. I promoted therapy in there. I promoted self-care in there. I promoted a lot of things in there to get the trans men to pay attention to the fact that, the shit that I saw in there that was thrown my way, oh my God, I could just imagine what they were doing to their women. if I'm telling you, if what I experienced from time to time in there was any indication of what their women were going through, then that group was very, very needed. And, there would be lulls where I would start joking around and putting crazy memes in there and saying crazy things in there to make people laugh, and basically being their entertainment for that group. And I would literally put posts in that group saying, if you are looking over your lady's shoulder, if you are preventing her from speaking her piece in here, if you are in here being nosy to see what if your woman was going to say anything about you, the trans man, so that you could cock block that shit, please excuse yourself from the group, because you are holding your lady back. You are holding back her being able to fully express herself in a way where the other ladies could support her. And, and then from time to time, because of some of the drama that I would stop in the group, you know, the ladies quickly turned their attention from the drama to how I handled it and made it about me and my being stern. And everything that I did in there was for those women and came from a place of love. I mean, every decision I made, every person I booted, every person that I stopped from creating drama in the group, it was to maintain order in the group. But people didn't get that. So let me tell you what happened. In my transition, and I've stated this in other videos, that I went from everything being about transition to the black man awakening in me. And when that happened, as it was happening, I put a couple of posts in that group. And the first one was a post. It was a poll asking all the members of the group, how many of you know the difference between being pro-black and anti-white? And then I left it at that. Just wanted to see, was just curious, because there were a lot of white people in there. There were a lot of black, there was POC, there was everybody in there in that group. But I wanted to get a feel on, you know, exactly where people's minds were in there. Because I didn't want our expression as black people to be squashed if that kind of thing happened to come up in that group. So that was the main reason why I put out that poll. And then I put a video. I think the video was about white fragility. You know, I'm not sure what the video was, but I put a video in there and I dared people to watch it. And then I left it alone. And all of a sudden, Caucasian people woke up in that group who had been sitting there for God knows how long. They may have been sitting in that group for the entire time that group existed. Never said anything, never contributed anything, but they woke up because of those two posts. And instead of talking about how they felt about that, they attacked me. One lady, the first one that happened, said, how many people want to remove me from the group because I'm annoying her? And this was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I wrote as a comment, what? And I was tired. I wanted to go to sleep. But whatever bullshit that woman was starting, I didn't want it to continue all night so that I would have to wake up the next day to see a whole bunch of crap in there about trying to remove me, the creator of the group, from the group. So I shut that post down, and I'm not even sure, I think I deleted it, and then I sent her a private message asking, what's the problem here? Exactly what's going on? I don't know, I removed her from the group. But I sent her a post that said, you know what, we need to sort this out. I don't know what's going on with you, but we need to sort this out. And until we do, I don't want you in there starting crap for the rest of the night. And I needed to go to I was being interviewed the next day for Transilient. I was having an interview. I needed to be in a good headspace. So that lady didn't respond. to my private message to her. Instead, her friend or her boyfriend, I'm not sure who he was, he jumped in there, started yammering, about me. And I saw, what the hell is going on here? So I booted him because these people were saying things. Oh, he said, well, is this a black-only group? And I'm like, no. And see, what happened was the day before crap hit the fan, I was moved by divinity to start a black-only group on Facebook. Not only is it black-only, it's binary-only. So, and I'll tell you in a minute why. Well, I don't need to tell you why. Look at my last video. You'll see why that is for binaries only. And I'm not sure if I said in that video that, non-binaries, gender fluid, gender queer, all of these people who don't claim a gender attack binary people, binary trans men in groups all over Facebook. So we needed a space where that didn't happen. So I created that group. And this was all going on at the same time crap was hitting a fan in women supporters of trans men. So I created that group. I made an announcement in that group that I was starting this new group. And that pissed off some more white people because they weren't included or something. I don't know. But then another guy, a white gentleman, jumped in and tried to defend me because, after I booted her, after I booted him, a whole bunch of other ones jumped up and said, well, we can't post in the group because you're posting all the time. I said, no, nobody's preventing you from posting in here. And if you don't like the content of what's going on, I post to wake y'all up, period. That's why I do it, because people love to lurk on Facebook and just sit around and do nothing and wait for people to entertain them. So my job as the creator of that group and as the admin of that group was to generate activity. And I didn't care what I had to do it. If it was funny, if it was sexually nasty, it didn't matter what I did. I was going to generate something if nobody else did. So I told this lady, the only way you be prevented from posting is if I make this group that every post has to be approved. And that's not how I had it set up. Anybody could post anything. But see, again, I'm telling you, there's an attitude that is coming out in this country where it's very, very, very obvious to me that either black people entertain them or be quiet. Don't challenge them. Don't make them think. Don't put anything in there that is going to trigger their privilege. That is what happened. And the man that jumped into those posts and started defending me and trying to tell that lady, you know what, if you want the content to change, create a post. Nobody's stopping you from creating a post. And he was being very diplomatic about it while I was getting pissed about it. Because, my focus was leaving that to go to this other group. So it was like a dog pile. Person after person after person. And I was deleting posts. I was booting people. I was doing a lot of things. So nobody really saw what went on from beginning to end. And the last two people who jumped on the dog pile were actually black, which they didn't see any of the shit that went on 3 days prior. This was a 3-day long dog pile on the admin of the group and the creator of the group, which was crazy. So those last two people who jumped on that pile, I called one of them out because she told me to let people have their growing pains. And I told her in another post, those weren't growing pains. That was an all-out attack. That's not growing pains. I don't have to tolerate that, and I don't have to put up with that, and I don't have to put up with abuse from any of y'all. The stuff that was going on was racially charged because of those two posts I put in there, but it wasn't racially charged on my end. It was racially charged on the white people who woke up from nowhere after sitting there for month after month after month saying nothing but being entertained by the black man. Okay, so I was talking in the background as all this was happening, and I told somebody that I'm going to shut this group down because things are way out of control. People think it's okay to jump in there and cast their fucking opinions on something that was literally hurting my feelings. I was in tears over what happened in that group. And people can say they blamed it on me, but what I say, and my admins who sat by and didn't do anything about it, was that if you don't stick up for this group and you don't stick up for me, you don't deserve to have this group. I'm not going to be a target when one of the jobs of the admins is to have each other's backs. Didn't nobody have my back. They just sat there and they were busy or whatever reason they gave for not seeing 3 days worth of absolute drama going on in there. And I mean negative crap that was just targeted at me because I stirred up white privilege. Fragility in white people. I stirred it up in that group. And not even really on purpose. I was like taking a thermometer and sticking it in the group to see where people were. I found out where they were. The dear friend that I was talking to was actually a family member of mine. And she saw she saw and heard my emotions about the whole thing. And that I had been running that group for a year. And it was very tough to run that group. I had to find women through their men. So I was putting out promotions to that group to find the women through the men. And would try to get them both in there together. Which sometimes was pretty difficult. And when they were in there with the men were sitting on the women and they weren't able to express themselves. They were afraid. They were scared. And a bunch of people convinced them to be afraid of me. Which, you know what? I may be stern, but I'm fair. And I'm very loving. And I'm a lot of fun, and I put a lot of fun in that group, and I had some admins that put a lot of fun in that group, and I would lose them because of their men having a testosterone fit on me, which I would shut down. So, and you know where that comes from? I don't have to take shit from nobody. It's my group. I'll run it the way I want to. I don't have to take shit from nobody. And that I've been that way long before the internet came along. I saw that whole thing start. I was in the middle of it, in the computer industry. And I've never taken shit off nobody. So I wasn't going to do it in my own group. And a lot of people didn't like that. And I was like, well, if you don't like it, you can leave. Because I'm not changing the rules and I'm not changing how I run this group. And if you don't like it, there's the door. And, you know, a lot of people, I've been called everything from being too aggressive, and you know what, that is a thing that is going on in that thing about people calling men aggressive, black men, is none other than oppression trying to make men docile, black men, because the world is afraid of aggressive and assertive and critical thinking radical black men. They want to put you in your place. And I refused to let those people in that group put me in some place that made them more comfortable. Not happening. I am not changing who I am because it scares white people. And it scares other black people. And it scares black women, especially lesbians. They fucking, they have trouble enough with their, who they thought were women that they were with, transitioning to male, men. And I am a very strong, dominant, aggressive, assertive, smart, articulate, radical black man. So black women were threatened in there. White women were threatened in there. White men were threatened in there. And other black men were threatened in there. I mean, I was getting it from all angles. So I dismantled the group. And I left about 40 people in that group. I deleted everybody else and left 40 people in there and kind of sort of explained to them why I was going to dismantle the group, and I wanted to say goodbye to the people that they didn't stick up for me for what was going on, but I didn't hold it against them, and I just wanted them to say their piece, have a chance to say their piece before I deleted everybody. And I left them in there for several days to say, they wished I wouldn't do it, but they understand why I'm doing it and whatnot. So all of my attention went from that group to the new one. And part of the reason why I created this group, and I didn't really know it at the time, it was divinity that created that group. See, I didn't know shit was getting ready to hit the fan the day after I created that group. But God did. The God that I believe in knew what was going to happen and had me create that other group right the day before shit hit the fan. So, and then as I've evolved and as the group has evolved, and then I decided to turn it into a business, into an organization, I quickly realized that a lot of the things that I have been complaining about, that I have been making videos about since last year, about the LGBTQIA, the LGBTQIA having a problem with the T, and the T having problems with the LGBTQIA, and heterosexual cisgender people not understanding us in this country is part of the problem. That they're clueless, that they don't really have an opportunity to see us in action, that they don't, they're in that circle and we're in this circle. And so they may not have any transgender relatives, they may not have any transgender friends, they may not have people around them that can bring them into society with us to, anyway, I'm getting into the evolution of why I created this group. But this group is for black people only. And because we are the most oppressed race in America. So we need a space. And some of the shit that happens in LGBTQIA groups and transgender groups on Facebook will shut down talks of race. They will delete you, they will boot you, and in LGBTQIA groups, they will ignore the transgenders in the groups. You know, they would claim that their posts were inappropriate or something they said was inappropriate and bothered them. And it's all lack of education and ignorance going on in the cisgender community, regardless of your sexual identity. A whole bunch of misunderstanding, a whole bunch of ignorance, and a whole bunch of cluelessness. So this group, this black-only group that's only binary, has everybody in it. That was divinity as well, because I just created that as I was creating this group and putting people in this group, which I never put anybody in there. I created a post and would put it in people's inboxes and say, if you want to join this group, there's a description, go look at it. If you like it, click join. So, you know, it has quickly picked up steam, and part of the vision that I am creating around this business, the nonprofit part of this group, this organization, is to bridge that gap between perhaps trans-friendly Christians, trans-friendly black people, trans-friendly cisgender men and women, and transgender people that are black. And that we are going to, this movement, to me, is cutting edge. And I've got a lot of people trying to undermine what I'm doing in there, the vision that I have, that they don't fully understand. But, you know, they will when I get the vision and the mission statement together for the organization. But in the meanwhile, I get people in there doing the same old nonsense they do in other Facebook groups that I won't allow, just like I didn't allow it in that other group. You know, they come in there wanting to promote themselves, their organizations. A lot of them are coming in there to get members for their organization on the sly, because they see how fast it's growing and they want to pick off people to put in their organization. That is going on in there too. And for now, I'm letting it happen, because it's like I am finding a group of people who are going to be on the front line of this organization. They're going to be the leaders of the organization, and we are going to put something together. And then all that whispering and crap that's going on in the background is going to stop, because I'm going to start eliminating people from organizations who are the only reason why they're there is to be nosy. They're not there to contribute. They're there to see what I'm up to and what I'm doing, and then, you know, make some kind of decision based on that. And, you know, the Facebook group serves a dual purpose. One is to educate, you know, start uplifting black people as a whole, because our history has been lost, our culture has been lost, our roots have been lost, and I and other people in there have been putting in positive information about, you know, how we're going to overcome this horrible feeling that we feel every day, that some people have numbed in order to survive in a society that has oppressed us for over 400 years. So we're going to get well together. We're going to get positive together. We're going to get powerful together. We're going to get a lot of things together that isn't happening any other way, because you look around the transgender community, they're fighting. You look around the black communities around the nation, they're fighting. You look everywhere and everybody's got this dissension crap going on that this organization is going to bridge and jump right over it. I'm not going to tell you how. That's up to me and the leaders of the organization. But, you know, all that stuff's going to stop, because the black community has issues around leadership, around, and this stuff came from slavery, okay? We didn't create it, but it is in our culture that we have to somehow eliminate in order to gain our self-respect, our dignity, some kind of control and power in this country, some kind of ability to do something, and everybody's going to help every other kind of person in this group, in this organization. To transgenders have no rights. And if a lot of the other people in there see that we're just people that deserve to be treated like humans, then they can tell somebody that they know that, hey, I'm in this group and they're all right people. And they're really into promoting, and I'm going to say blackness. I'm not going to say African American, because this group is international. There's people from all over the world in there. So the thing that we have in common is being black, being oppressed, and having the same kind of issues within our culture worldwide. It's a big vision, people. So, and I can't even begin to roll this out right now in this video, but my focus is there, and I've got a whole bunch of people outside that are pissed off that they can't get in the group. White people, you know, let me tell you something. There's some pretty good allies running around out there, but, and then there's a whole bunch who aren't. They just want to be in there to see what's going on in there, because that is what they do. They infiltrate everything that we do in this country. They infiltrate everything that we do in this world. They don't want us to have anything of our own. They always want to be part of what we are and then steal what we do and control it. It's all about power and control. And because they can't get in there, I get some nasty ass messages sent to me in the request to join, because there's a group of questions that pop up asking you to identify yourself. And if they happen to read the description of the group and see that it isn't for white people, they put something nasty in the request and call me racist and all this other stuff. And what's funny about that is, if they were good white people, if they really wanted to learn something, if they really wanted us to have something of our own, they would be educated enough to realize there is no such thing as reverse racism. There's no such thing. We don't like racists, and if we call you out, if that makes us racist, then that makes you ignorant. That's no different than calling you out if you're abusive to your mate. It's okay to do that, isn't it? You'll go to jail for that. But white people abusing black people, that's why their request is abusive. They're attacking me because they can't be in there, and part of that is abusive. And the KKK is abusive. The white supremacists are abusive. And what this idiot president and his administration has done, without any laws being enacted and without any anything except the attitude of those people in the administration is made it okay in open season for every racist idiot in this world to open their fucking mouth and have something fucked up to say about us and to us. So no, y'all can't be in there, because we need to heal from what you're doing 24 hours a day around the world. There is not probably 1 second of one day that this nonsense isn't happening to a black person. All the way back from slavery. It has been nonstop. And until y'all get it together, then you need to leave us alone so that we can get it together without you in our face and without us having to filter anything that we have to say about you and about how you're treating us in America. We need a place where we don't have to filter that. And if you were in there and saw some of the stuff that was being said in there, you'd want to argue. Or you'd want to say the stupid little fucking things that you say all the time to try to squash the fact that oppression exists, racism exists, and it's very big, and it's very powerful, and it's very evil, and it's very fucked up. What you need to do is go educate yourself about that stuff and stop running around the internet, places like The Root. The Root is a very, very good site for black people. But there's white trolls running around in that group too that say the same stupid thing. Oh, you're too aggressive. Oh, you're too this, you're too that. Because they want to control us. Guess who has no control whatsoever in my organization? And will never. We will. You don't like that? Oh, well, I'm just going to have to just keep denying you, keep blocking you, keep you out of my inbox, and just ignore the hell out of you, because that's what y'all, in essence, have been doing to us since we were brought to this country, is ignoring our pain and ignoring what your silence is doing, what your lack of letting us rise is doing, what your racism is doing, covert and overt, what your method of trying to ignore what's going on in this country because it's not affecting you. So that's what my organization is about. You're not going to affect us in that organization because you're not going to be in there to affect us. Sorry, but not sorry. So anyway, that's the history of women supporters of trans men. I have not mentioned the name of the other group because, again, there's going to be trolls watching this video, and I don't want you to find us on Facebook and start your nonsense in your requests in my inbox or whatever. You just don't need to be a part of that until we're ready to make you a part of that. If we're ever ready to make you part of that, it will be a collective decision of everybody in there. Not just me. Whether we're going to include white people and whether we're going to include, well, it's not even whether we're going to include non-binaries, because I think they're a hot mess on the back of the stove. So I don't ever want them to be in there because they're running all around Facebook starting shit because they're butthurt and they got a chip on their shoulder. And I don't want any drama in that group. The minute I see it, it gets squashed, just like I did in the other group. I observe drama going on in other groups, in live feeds and stuff like that. Ain't gonna happen in that group. It's not gonna happen in our organization either. Either we're gonna get along and we're gonna be cohesive and we're gonna not unite, or you don't belong in there. If you're there to promote yourself, your organization, you're trying to promote your organization inside of an organization. What is that other than, what is that? You're undermining. You're looking for members for your organization and mine. It's not going to happen, folks. I am not stupid, okay? I am far from it. I would tell you how high my IQ is, and it would blow y'all fuck away if you knew. And I have people smarts on top of that. So I smell bullshit from a mile away. And I'll call you on it. I'll be nice about it, but I ain't gonna let you do whatever the hell you want to do in there. That ain't your group. And if you do want to do that, start your own group. You you don't have to start. You know how hard it is to run a group like that on Facebook, where you keep the drama down and the bullshit out. Do you know how hard that is? Go ahead and try it. You want to start a Facebook group for your organization? Don't do it in mine. That's just selfish. I don't know what that. I got a lot of words for what that is, but don't do it. I'm not gonna let it happen. So that is why I started this group, why I abandoned the other group. And I didn't abandon it. It's actually sitting there. There's just nobody in it but me. and I keep it there for historical reasons, because I'm going to talk about that group in my book. I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm going to talk about almost everything that happened in there, because I've got the entire history, because I didn't delete the group. I just dismantled it. So this has been a lightning topic, huh? You get a little bit of peek into my compassion, my humanity, my purpose, my direction. And if people want to go, we can all go in that direction together, because I'm going west. You want to go west? Let's go. But you want to go in, you want to get inside of there and go east? Bye, see you later. East is not where we're going. And where I got that from is a movie called The Book of Eli, starring Denzel Washington, who carried the Bible to a destination. That's not what I'm doing, but we do have a destination, and it's west. And if you want to go in any other direction, start your own group and go that way. But all my time and effort is being put into going west. So I'm a very loving man. I am not anti-white. I am pro-black. Learn the difference, white people. Don't attack me and think I'm anti-white because I'm pro-black. I'm into healing black people worldwide. Whether I'm doing it in their inbox, I'm doing it in that group, or I'm doing it in the organization. So, love you. Peace.